Geometry Dash is a game that requires both a lot of skill and a lot of luck. You can get very unlucky on a level and have a very bad experience on it, or get very lucky on a level and have a good experience. It does depend on what level you play in Geometry Dash in general, and it could either be a very good experience or a bad experience, however you wish. But I decided that I'm going to be asking your favorite Geometry Dash content creators whether or not they've had a bad experience, and if so, what was the worst one. Without further ado, let's go see what our contestants have cooked up for us.
The worst experience I've had in GD was back when I was beating Tartarus. This was back when I had 97, and there's around 3 streams in a row that I would say all make up the worst experience I've ever had in GD. Where, and in these streams, whenever I would get to 90 from 0, I just could not finish the level for my life. And I mean, whenever I would do a start position from like 91, I could probably just do 91 to 100 maybe like 5 times in a row. Now, it is arguable that when I was going from 0, I would pause the level at 91 and I would do a backflip. So it is a fair argument to say that that might have caused me to be less consistent when I was going from 0. Because I didn't do the backflip when I was practicing from start positions. But the issue would even happen in the high 90s, multiple seconds past the backflip. And I would say the worst part of my worst experience in GD was the final stream. At the time, my best was 97%. But in this stream, I got 97 again. And if things could get any worse, a few minutes later, I died at 98. If you know Tartarus, that's the very last click of the level. Right after that death, that was probably my worst mental state while playing Geometry Dash. I remember I wouldn't even read my chat, I wouldn't even look at chat, I wouldn't even say anything. I was just annoyed, but I was also kind of rushed. It felt like I shouldn't really be here, like I should do it by now. It feels like I shouldn't still be doing this, I should do it by now. And especially because I had to go on a trip the day later, and if I didn't beat it now, I would go on that trip and when I come back, I'd have like no consistency, and it would take another week, on top of the week that I was on vacation. But luckily, it only took a few more minutes until I actually beat it. But that was 8 months ago, and still, to this day, that was my worst experience in GD.
I beat my poo Tartarus.
I like poo!
My worst experience on GD. Oh. There's a couple times I've made videos on insane demons or like even hard demons where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit down, I'm gonna record the video, like beat the level, whatever. And then I end up dying to like 90% over and over, and then I just can't beat it. And it is the most frustrating thing because it's like there's sort of a time limit to it, right?
Yeah.
That's probably got to be up there. A dart. That's the one. That's probably the most frustrating experience. There was this level that is like one of those like giant mega collabs where each part is like 5 blocks wide,
Yeah.
and it's
Wave
it was
only.
all
Yeah.
wave mode. And that level has so many weird hitboxes, so much jank in it, and I just was not having it that day. I struggled with that level so much. I didn't even end up beating it in the video. I just like left it uncompleted. It was like, all right, I'm just gonna end it here. You know what? That's fine. Yeah, it's not as bad as I remember it being. But when I first went for it, it felt really bad, even though it's just a hard demon.
The worst experience I've probably had in Geometry Dash was beating all of the main levels at 200% speed. It was just such a weird challenge that you don't really train your skill set. And when levels like Clutterfunk took me so long and just I felt like completely mind blocked, it was very stressful, especially since I had a donation incentive for my viewers to be able to donate $5 for me to get like all the coins in the level I'm playing on or like later levels. And in one stream, a bunch of people had donated and I had to like get all the coins up until before deadlocked. And that put a lot of strain onto me because I was like, I don't know, can I even do this? Because I don't want to scam people, obviously. And I was very stressed out because I was like, okay, this challenge is so difficult. I'm struggling on Clutterfunk. Like, collab step and theory of everything too will be super difficult. Luckily I didn't then, but I was expecting this to take 50 streams or more of like straight playing, but luckily I didn't then. And yeah, that's the worst experience I've had in Geometry Dash, I'd say.
Oh, my worst geometry experience? That's a very hard question because I could talk about like one specific level, for instance, Deception Dive, where I died 63 times too close to the ending. But at the end of the day, generally, the hardest thing about playing Geometry Dash for me is that I am so impatient. I always drop levels after even one slightly worse session where I didn't get the new best, and there is a big chance I will never play the level again, which kind of sucks because it made me drop like 10 new hardests that I almost beat before that. But if you are talking about one specific experience, then I have to say How to Platformer, because I decided to beat it all in one stream where I severely underestimated it, and after 5.5 hours I was barely halfway done. So it was really hard on my mental health because I knew that I only had like 2 more days to beat the level, since I did have to go away by that point and I needed to have that done. So it was really hard for me to do it, and it was probably the worst experience ever. I had to do it in 3 streams and I didn't enjoy my time like at all.
The worst experience I've had in Geometry Dash, which is solely due to the impact it left on me, is hosting my 100 players video. Let me be clear, this is not my worst regret. I do not at all regret making the video, but it was a very stressful event to host. My biggest issue is that many people did not enjoy the event, and the reason is obvious when you think about it. Half of the contestants got eliminated in the first round and received 0 screen time in the video to make up for it. And this is in addition to sitting through an hour of me explaining the rules. A lot of people in this event I respect, so I feel I disappointed them, and I still think about this to this day. But no matter what, I'm proud I made the video, and I know a good few contestants had a good experience at least.
Yeah, so my worst experience would definitely have to be Bloodlust. I was playing that level as a second hardest, right before it was about to fall off the list, and for some reason I care way too much about list points. So I really wanted to beat it before it fell off the list, but I was getting so unlucky and so mind blocked, and the fact that like the mind blocks made it harder for me made me more stressed, and then that made the mind blocks even worse, and it was literally just a cycle of just brain rot. I'm not gonna lie. Like that level, with the circumstances I was playing it in, was genuine torture. I almost quit the game, genuinely. But yeah, that's my worst Geometry Dash experience.
I think my worst ever experience was definitely on Titan Complex, especially when I was at the last part. There was a choke point at 90 that killed me over and over. I think it was 3 times I died there, and I finally made it past that choke point. There was nothing hard left. And as soon as I jumped over the last triple spike, my girlfriend walked in, and I fucking died for no reason at 92. And then I tried it for another month! Like, wait, that's not my fault.
So, Decane asked me what my worst experience is, and I can't think of one. So he's letting me do my best experience. And I feel like it's the pretty cliche answer is Secret Way. Everything revolved around Secret Way for the last year, and everything that we've been doing has just been one of the most amazing experiences I've ever gotten in this community. Like I've got to talk to a lot of people I never would be able to talk to if we didn't start this channel. And in the beginning, people didn't really like us because they thought we were kind of some sort of cash grab or some sort of brain rotted Kai guy clone. But over time, when we started to grow a bigger following, more people, most prominently GD Cullen, he really disliked us in the beginning, and now he really loves Secret Way. He thinks Secret Way is a pretty. He thinks Secret Way. I think he thinks that Secret Way is an outlier to the whole GD shorts scene because it's all just mouse cam click sync stuff. So I would say that. But if there's any second place that isn't a cliche answer, probably getting my comment hearted back in 2017 from Nork to Childa. I still think about that. That's a core memory to me. Back when he was a big creator. So those are probably my best experiences. And if you want to include this part in the video, Kane, the worst experience I can think of is playing Theory of Everything 2 because I broke 2 pairs of headphones to it. But I've had worse experiences in the game. Like I played Zodiac for 13 hours straight. That was the worst experience I could think of. But I can't really deter whether that or Theory of Everything 2 was worse for me. So yeah.
My worst experience ever in Geometry Dash was grinding map packs. I decided to do that to get more achievements, but let's say that it was a bad idea. Most of the map packs level had awful gameplay, bad decoration. Some of them didn't even match their difficulty rating, which is really annoying. Like the level could be a 4-star, but it's actually a 8-star gameplay wise. I really don't recommend playing map packs unless you love to rage and waste your time. Please, RockTop, make better map packs next time, because it's really, really bad.
Yatagarazu is the worst experience I've ever had with a level in Geometry Dash. I got 83% on that level back in September 2017, but I didn't beat it until January 2019. But that wasn't before I died at 94%, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but when you die super far on a level and then you spend the next thousands and thousands of attempts playing it, dying at all the silly bugs, inconsistencies, and other stuff in the mid and early parts of the level, it's the most demotivating, annoying thing ever. And it didn't help that at the time I was in college, and college was the worst 2 years of my life because I was under so much pressure from teachers. I had no self-esteem. I was just in a really deep depression at the time. So when I died at 94, all those problems just compounded and I just broke down. I couldn't handle it. I was just in floods of tears. So yeah, that's why Yatagarazu is by far the worst experience I've ever had, and never play it.
Oh my god! What did I hit? Dude! What did I hit?
The worst thing that happened to me wasn't really inside of Geometry Dash, but it was related to Geometry Dash, but outside of it. So, the main thing that I would consider the worst thing that happened to me was when I released my biggest video, which was the Top 1s video. At the time, it was my best performing video, but it got demonetized for a dumb reason, because a viewer had rewatched the video multiple times in a way to support me, because they wanted to give me money, right? So by rewatching, they would be watching all ads over and over again. But YouTube detected that and thought it was bot activity. So that caused the video to be demonetized, and I ended up losing the first month and a half of revenue from my biggest video, which is pretty unfortunate. But it's not even that bad, because I haven't really had many bad or the worst situations happen inside of Geometry Dash. It's a pretty chill game. But yeah, if I had to name the worst thing, that was probably it. It was a bit unfortunate.
The absolute worst experience that I've ever had with Geometry Dash is without a doubt my year-long journey with Artificial Ascent. Now, you might think that my experience was bad because A, it took me a lot of attempts, or B, I got really unlucky. But no, it only took me 16,000 total, and my furthest death was 71%. So then why was this still my worst experience? It's because I literally got 71% the first time I ever passed Michigan's part. So not being able to get anywhere close to that for a month straight and multiple streams, I got really demotivated, and then I dropped it for a whole year.
I think my worst experience in Geometry Dash was back then when I was playing on mobile. I was trying to beat Acropolis, but half of all of my attempts were from the first jump, because it was a 120 hertz frame perfect transition, but I think I've died there 2,000 times. It was actually ridiculous. And also the fact that I died at the ending 4 times. It was not fun, man, but I still beat it.
Worst experience in Geometry Dash. I've been playing Extreme Demons for years. I've beaten so many hard levels, and I've had so many bad experiences. My hardest achievement is beating EXO on 60 hertz. That took 14 months with 80,000 attempts. And then you got my other hard ones. The Rupture took 5 months. Shardscapes, that took 3 months, but still that was so painful. But I think the ones that are the most painful for me are the ones that are the easier Extreme Demons that I should be beating in a shorter amount of time than they really take. Like previously, I just recently beat Butiti 3, and that was going on for way longer than it should have, because I got to the ending. I got like 90, like 2 weeks in, and then it took like another 3 weeks to beat it. I specifically remember Heartbeat being by far my worst experience. That level took me like 2 months when it really should have been like less than 2 weeks.
So funny story about me is I actually like playing this game. Compared to most GD players I see, I think I'm one of the few that actually enjoys playing the game. And I've beat nearly 90 Extreme Demons now, and my lowest enjoyment score on any of them is by far the lowest, which is Bloodbath with a 2 out of 10. And I hate saying that because it's such an iconic level, and I don't want to discourage people from like not going for it, but it was genuinely the most miserable experience of my life. I got 85 in like the first hour of playing, and it still took me 3 more days because it was just that unbearably boring from 0. Like I couldn't, it's not even that the level was necessarily set up bad, it was just skill-based gameplay. It was so boring from 0. It was so excruciatingly boring.
My worst experience with Geometry Dash has got to be coming across like NSFW levels as a kid. Like sometimes I'd find like furry shit or whatever like that. It's funny because like the game is listed as basically for all ages, like 4+, 10+ on the app stores, but there you have access to an unrestricted base of user levels. So I don't know if that rating is very accurate, you know?
So years ago, I used to do level completion videos, and one of my YouTuber friends at the time had beaten Wacropolis. So I thought, hey, I want to do that too. So I stayed up to like 3 a.m. that same night, sweating my balls off trying to beat the level. It was fun for like the first 10 minutes. Then the level took my soul. And to make matters worse, my parents kept getting mad at me because I was clicking too loud. But I didn't give up, and I did eventually beat the level. You can still find the completion video on my channel. I wouldn't say it was a negative experience, but it definitely tested my willpower.
And now, my worst experience in Geometry Dash, I have a full video on just the experience of Niwa. And for those who have not watched it or seen me for the first time, hi, I died past 60% 80 times, and I've died to the last ship 10 times, which includes also a 96% theft, which makes me the unluckiest victor of Niwa so far, with the lowest attempts of 9,000. A lot of people who have unlucky thefts or completions, they have more than 20 to 30,000 attempts, which I count as an unlucky one because I was consistent every single time. I do hate Niwa with a passion, but I played it and I still play it once in a while because I want to make myself suffer just as much as I can. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Watch my interviews, please, guys. I've interviewed a lot of people. I've interviewed Moldy, Stallion. I have a lot of other people coming up, so please check it out.